Welcome to Write Now Workshop Podcast, where you can write a book and change the world. I'm your host, Kitty Bucholtz, and this is episode 215, Before and After Photos, an encouraging words episode coming to you on Sunday, October 11th, 2020. As you know, my encouraging words episode is supposed to come out on the first Sunday of each month, but a couple of things just kind of got in my way. I've had an incredibly busy couple of weeks getting ready for my next Finish Your Book intensive group coaching program. And my husband's birthday was last weekend, which was, in fact, the first weekend of October. And so because we can't really go anywhere, he took vacation days for Friday and Monday. And we had a fantastic 4-day weekend. It was so much fun. We ate so much. I should not have gotten on the scale this morning, but I did. Oh, well. So between the fact that I was really busy and super stressed out, and then determined that because he had taken vacation days, I was going to be on vacation if it killed me for those 4 days, which I have to admit was incredibly nice to take a break. So if you're very, very busy, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for you to take a little bit of a vacation break to sort of just renew yourself and renew your energy. So sometime in this past week, I remember waking up and thinking, I feel a little bit better than I've been feeling the last couple of weeks. Like I just felt more positive, which that is to say, I felt more myself. I didn't wake up thinking about like all the crazy amounts of work that I was behind in that needed to get done. It was just because it had been such a stressful couple of weeks, it was weird to wake up and feel my usual positive self. And I was like, this is so wonderful. And I'm not going to second guess it. And maybe I should try really hard not to, think about all the things that I'm slightly worried about, because maybe I can make this feeling last longer than, 35 seconds. But when I was laying there and thinking about all those things, I was thinking that it was almost like I could picture myself doing better that day, feeling better, getting work done, but in a less stressed out way. And I had this image of before and after photos just came to mind, possibly from God. He does a lot of things to make me think of things that I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea, or I hadn't thought of something that way. And so I was thinking about before and after photos. Now, we've seen tons of before and after photos. It seems like the most popular ones are, for diet programs or diet companies, the before I went on this diet and the after I went on this diet, or for gyms, before I went to the gym and after I went to the gym, or similarly, personal trainers, before when I was going to the gym but didn't have a personal trainer and wasn't doing a very good job, and after when I hired a personal trainer and they had a plan. And you see these before and after photos, and I'm fine with them. I mean, they do what they're supposed to do. They make you go, oh, okay, we could make a change. I'm more than slightly annoyed with the ones where, particularly weight loss ones. If you're watching on YouTube, where the person is like kind of slouched and their stomach's really sticking out and they've got kind of this really grim expression on their face. But then in the after photo, like they're standing up straight and you can see that I'm not saying they're sucking their stomach in, but they're obviously like using their core muscles to stand up straight and look like a normal person, and they're smiling. And I'm thinking, well, part of the difference in these before and after pictures are obviously the person looks a lot happier in the end, which I know is a marketing thing. You want to sell people being happier with their end result. But when I was laying in bed thinking about before and after photos, I was thinking, well, we could just choose to imagine how we're going to look and feel when we get through whatever this challenge is that we're going through. So my challenge was a whole lot of business stuff that needed to be done. And at the same time, a whole lot of tech not working the way it was supposed to. And I was just getting more and more stressed out. So I was laying there thinking, if I could just imagine what it's going to feel like in a few days when the biggest pile of this workload is behind me and I get down into kind of a more usual workload, and then I can start catching up and fixing some of the things that are broken. I'm like, okay, so now I can I can imagine what I look like then, calmer, happier, a little bit more my normal self. And the more I pictured myself being calm and happy in this not so distant future where hopefully life was a little bit easier and work was a little bit more, I don't know, easy or caught up. It was making me feel better. Like I could feel my muscles relaxing and my stomach not clenching. And I was like, this is a cool idea. Like maybe we need to think about our before and after photos when it comes to some of the challenges in our lives so that we can get this positive energy to get through the challenge by just imagining the positive energy that we'll have when we've gotten to the end. Now, I have done this in some ways in the past, but like without really thinking about it that much. So as often as I've moved, I have taken a ton of before and after photos before I started packing and then afterwards when it's just walls of boxes, or before I started unpacking when it's just walls of boxes, to when I finally finish unpacking. And I was so excited to take pictures of our living room after we had finally gotten a place to put all the photo albums and all the photos, and we had rearranged, and it looks so nice. I'm just so happy with it. Sometimes I go in the living room, I'm like, look at that. There's no more boxes in our living room. Yay. There are boxes still in our dining room. So I'm not done yet. But when you are imagining what life is going to be like in the not too distant future, it seems like it gives you this more positive energy to get through to that place and to actually make that happen. And I love talking about neuroscience too, and the fact that our brains actually will try to do the things that we are thinking about. I'm reading this great book right now called Positive Intelligence, and he's talking about how, the voices that you have in your head, whichever the ones are that you're listening to, those are the things that are likely to happen. And if we're listening to the negative voices, we're likely to be more negative, fearful, judgmental, or whatever. So I was thinking, what are the challenges that we have this week or this month? Like let's just look at a small period of time. For me, I just needed to get through 2 weeks of a whole lot of moderately hard, but mostly just a whole lot of work. And then it's like, oh, I made it. Okay. Whew. But so what are some of the other little challenges? Basically anything that you have succeeded at, imagine what your before and after photos were, and then apply it to something that you are hopefully going to be succeeding at very soon, or something that you are going to just get through to the other side. Part of my work was a matter of, is this going to succeed or not? But honestly, it was a matter of, I just need to get through the work. I just need to get it done. So sometimes it's just a matter of making it through, right? Then there's things that are like really specifically writing related. What's the picture now? Now's the before, right? And what's the after photo that I have in my mind when I have finished and then published my book? Ah. Now, of course, we sometimes have these ideas in our head of how awesome that's going to be. And then we get to that day and we're not feeling it. And we're just there feeling stressed because now we have all this marketing and we're not celebrating our success because we're so busy doing the next thing has to be done. And I always say, no, stop. You have to celebrate your success. So you have to have these moments, and I want them to last longer than the 2 minutes. You can, bask in it for a minute and then be like, okay, now I'm stressed because I have to go do my marketing. But no, really stop and celebrate that you made it through this challenge, that you finished the first chapter of your book, that you finished the final edit of your book, that you published your book. And imagine that feeling of what it would be like if someone took your after photo right then, and use that positive energy to get through to the end. Even more so if you're writing your first book. Hopefully your first book, you're still thinking this is really exciting and fun. So think about how much more excited you're going to be when you finish it. And then just keep that feeling, keep that picture in your mind as you're writing, because you know what, you're going to have tough times. That's just the nature of life. It's how we grow. We get muscles by, and I actually heard oh, what was she? Probably a nutritionist. That was probably her title. I went to a nutritionist once and was just like checking all of my blood levels and all different things just to see what I could do to be healthier. And she's like, well, you need to, this was in Australia. So they were talking in kilos and I can't remember the exact amount, but let's say she was saying you need to lose about 10 kilos of fat and gain 5 kilos of muscle. And I was like, okay, all right, great. That's my goal. How do I gain muscle? I know how to lose fat. How do you gain muscle? And she just looked at me like I was a complete idiot. And she's like, by using them. And I just started laughing because I was embarrassed. It was such a duh question and answer. But this is the way that life is. Like all of our life, we do hard things and end up stronger afterwards a lot of the time, more often than that not happening. Yes, sometimes bad things happen and we don't feel any stronger at the end. But I have to tell you, this book I'm reading, Positive Intelligence, he's saying that you can, even in the worst times, find ways to find a gift even in the bad times. I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. I'm not done with the book, but I'm really interested. So think of your before and after photos for basically any situation that you've got going in the next, say, weekend, week, 2 weeks, between now and Thanksgiving, if you're in the US. I bet you can find all kinds of encouraging ways to help yourself see the future in a brighter way and have more positive energy to get to that happy ending. And more so, well, hesitate to say more so, but I'm a big sharer, as you know, which is why I do this particular episode, because I want to share my ideas with how you can be happier and healthier and more peaceful and more joyful. And so I say, even better, you could share this idea with someone else and tell them that there's probably an idea that they have in their mind of how they're going to look when they get to whatever this end point is for this little piece that's only like a week from now or a month from now. And you can help them to start thinking about, okay, yeah, I'm going to look really happy when I finish this or succeed at that or get through this hard period of work or finish doing all the work that needs to be done in order to qualify for the promotion or whatever it is, or writing the book and getting to the end. So share the idea with your friends and you can all support each other as you take the positive energy that you know you'll have at the end and use it to get through to the end. It's a pretty interesting idea. I really like it. I was very excited to have this idea this week. So thank you, God, because I'm not sure that I'm smart enough to come up with all these ideas on my own. Pretty sure they get given to me. But that's a topic for another podcast. I hope that this has been interesting and gives you some ideas and some food for thought. Definitely see what you can do to make the next week or the next month of your writing life maybe just a little bit more interesting, a little bit more intriguing. What could you do with this idea, like actually in a plot? And if you're going to be doing National Novel Writing Month starting November 1st, then you are probably thinking about interesting plots and plot points and things that your characters will have to go through. So who knows where it could all take you. I hope that you have fun with the idea, and I hope it actually helps you to have more positive energy to get through some tough times and to just start thinking about life in a different way. Have a great week. Happy writing, and we will talk to you again soon.